Now, here's Adam Brown from Coca-Cola with his presentation, Coca-Cola, Sharing What Matters.
I'd start out kind of with a time machine here, and let's go back in time. Let's pretend that we are sitting here about 3 years ago, and I would have given you a presentation where I would have said this. I would have talked about our homepage at the Coca-Cola Company not being Coke.com, but being Google.com. When people were looking for information about the Coca-Cola Company, they weren't coming to our sites. They were going to Google. That was the primary destination. But it's changed a little bit. Yeah, we've got 1.2 million people who are looking for information on Coke on Google every month. But if we fast forward today, I would change that quote to this. That our homepage is Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, MySpace. Those are the places, those are the communities where people are talking about us and our brands. And we are fortunate, we are blessed to have a lot of people talking about us, a lot of people who are very passionate about Coca-Cola and all the 206 countries around the world where we do business. We've got our Coca-Cola Conversations blog, which is really our first toe in the water, so to speak, in the social media space. We developed a blog. It's really about our heritage and our archive. But if you look, we're doing a lot of things in some other places. With Facebook, we've got 3.4, as of this morning, 3.4 million fans on Facebook. And that really is an interesting story in its own right. We had the Facebook group was created by two guys, Michael and Dusty, back last September. So last September, the group had 2 members, and it's more from 2 members to 3.4 million just in I guess about 6 months. Facebook approached us around December, January, and said, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have to discontinue this Facebook account because, you guys didn't set it up. It was set up by these 2 folks. It's a registered trademark. We're going to cut it off and give it to you, and you guys are going to control this. And we said, wait, just a minute. I don't know if we really want to do that. So what we did is we reached out to Michael and Dusty. We said, hey, why don't you come to Atlanta? We'll go to a hockey game. We'll talk to you a little bit. And after we talked to them for a few days, we took them to the World of Coke. We took them on a tour of the archives with Phil Mooney. We ended up saying, listen, Facebook is going to be handing us control of this group, but we want to hand the keys right back over to you. And I think it was one of the best decisions that we ever made. The community of Facebook is where it is because it's genuine, because it's authentic. We are guests. We have asked for permission to participate in this conversation. And I think when we're doing that and we're doing it in the right way, I think it's proven pretty darn successful. We've had some fun on MySpace too with Open Happiness, a song that you can now download on iTunes. Having a lot of fun kind of with this new music thing. But the whole point is here, there are all these communities, these places where people are talking about our brands. Here's a little snapshot. Every day, there are about 1,000 blog or forum posts that talk about us, 300 tweets, although that number seems to be doubling now about every 6 weeks. So we're probably closer to 400 or 500, and it greatly fluctuates. About 15 YouTube videos go up live every day that talk about us. There are over 100,000 videos on YouTube right now that talk about us. Vast majority of those are Diet Coke Mentos explosion videos. So have fun with those. And about 50 pictures go up on Flickr every day. I think there's about 60,000 pictures on Flickr that are tagged with Coke. It's a huge opportunity, but it's also a huge challenge. How do we wrangle this? Our department is just a couple of people. Now the public affairs and corporate communications, where I live, is a little bit bigger. But there's really no way to kind of try to boil this ocean, if you will. So we kind of came up with a strategy, and the strategy and the idea behind all of this is what I call 4 R's. We've got to do these 4 things really well if we're going to be effective in the social media space. And I'm going to go through these one by one. First thing we have to do is do a better job of reviewing what's being said. I gave you some numbers, and I show you those numbers just to kind of show you the opportunity. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's no way that we can participate in over 1,000 blog communities every day. The first key, though, is we've got to review what's being said. You really need to not just review from an issue standpoint, from a crisis mitigation standpoint, but look at what people are talking about. When we start to create new content to go up on Facebook, to put on Phil's blog and some of the things that we're doing with the Open Happiness MySpace, we really look at what people are talking about, and we create content like that. So it's more than just reviewing from an issue standpoint, it's about reviewing to get ideas about what to talk about. The second R of the 4R strategy is responding. We've got to start participating in these conversations in communities. And we recently did something I'm calling the 10 by 6 by 10 tactic or project, where we now have identified the top 10 bloggers on 6 topics, and you can see the categories right here in 10 different languages. And we've realized that these are important relationships that we need to have, that we need to cultivate. And these are not relationships that me as the digital media guy needs to have. These are the relationships that the other general communications practitioners and subject matter experts around the company need to have. And that is really kind of a strong tenet, is empowering the subject matter experts to be able to respond. One thing that we have recently done is we're creating a new social media certification program. So anybody at Coke who wants to participate on behalf of the company needs to go through this social media certification. They need to make sure that they realize that when they post something that it's evergreen, that it's going to be up there forever, that they do represent the company, that anything that they say might be misconstrued, and that they need to be sensitive and always disclose that they're here on behalf of us. The third R, after we've done that, after we've begun to respond, and right now I think we're doing a decent job of responding selectively. The challenge is limited resources, like probably all of you have. So we're thinking, and our hope is that empowering these subject matter experts, giving them the right training, giving them that social media certification, that good housekeeping seal of approval, that they can begin to participate. The other area that we're seeing a lot of activity in is video. I really think that video is one of the future opportunities, not only for the Coca-Cola company, but for others. We mentioned the 100,000 videos on YouTube right now that are the Diet Coke Mid-Toast videos, as well as a lot of people who have uploaded some of our old ads. But we need to be doing the same thing. We're also realizing and recognizing organizations who maybe have a beef against Coke. They're starting to put videos up on YouTube. We need to do the same thing. We launched a new 100% natural flavor with Fanta Orange in North America. So we had Gorky De Los Santos, one of the guys on the Fanta brand team, create a little video that we put up and uploaded on the Facebook Fanta page. So the fans of Fanta were the first to kind of learn about this. Second video is we took a tour of a Dasani plant in Truesdale, Missouri. Let people see the $25 million reverse osmosis and nanofiltration systems. Recognize what goes into to manufacturing a bottle of Dasani. These are great stories, and what we find when we listen to that first R review, when we monitor, that people are interested in this stuff. So we create more compelling content, what I call purposeful edutainment. Everything that we do online, we've got to have a purpose. We're not just creating video for video's sake. We need to have a purpose for it. And again, it's got to be educational, but it's also got to be entertaining. And there's a fine balance there. There's also a fine balance about something being too highly produced, looking slick. We need to make sure that it's not slick. Third video is a tour we took at a Coca-Cola Collectors Club meeting that was held in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. There are a couple 100,000 people who are members of the Coca-Cola Collectors Club who collect these things. Again, creating content that we think people will find interesting. Once we've done those first 3 things, once we reviewed, once we responded, once we record, it's kind of about the fourth R, in my opinion, which is redirect, which certainly encompasses search engine optimization and search engine marketing, which is something that has been a really great tool and resource for us to help drive people to the content we create. But there's the other piece that I kind of call cross-pollination, that once you've done all these things, we need to cross-pollinate. We need to make sure that we're linking all these things. We all know how Google and the search engines work with link love, that when you have more things that link to something, it makes it more influential. We can leverage that, making sure the next person who comes along who maybe has the same question, that they're able to find it. So really our goal and objective in the redirect is making sure that we do that. I sometimes think that part of it is almost as important as actually responding. What we're trying to do too is we're trying to make sure that when we respond online, if we've already answered a question somewhere else, we try to link back to it, or we try to link to a third-party endorsement or third-party credibility. Who owns these relationships? Who owns these relationships with these communities? The folks, the consumers, the community members, they own these relationships. We just happen to be invited guests on board.